Tonight, this is a community on edge. Rampant looting underway. Armed shop owners standing guard.
What we've seen is the result of so much built-up anger and sadness. Not just because of 5 minutes of horror, but 400 years.
I know everything is literally on fire right now, and it doesn't seem like the perfect time to, but let's predict an election. Well guys, it's that time again. These are my May projections for the 2020 general election come this fall, and if I'm being honest, it doesn't look too good for the president. The economy is in a downturn, millions upon millions are unemployed, and the Hella Megatour featuring Weezer got postponed. God damn it! However, all over the country, stores, theaters, hair salons, gyms, and other areas are opening up once again in an effort to get Americans back to work and to revitalize the economy. President Trump will need to guide the economy back on track to what it was before the said crisis in order to have a chance come this election day against Joe. He must take a page from Ronald Reagan's 1984 re-election campaign and make it morning in America again.
It's morning again in America. And under the leadership of President Reagan, our country is prouder and stronger and better. Why would we ever want to return to where we were less than 4 short years ago?
However, this is easier said than done. If he is unable to do so, anti-Trump forces will storm the president with negative attacks that twist the phrase "morning in America" to "morning in America." Just take a quick look at this ad by the Lincoln Project. It's cold and stunning.
There's morning in America. Today, more than 60,000 Americans have died from a deadly virus Donald Trump ignored. With the economy in shambles, more than 26 million Americans are out of work. There's mourning in America, and under the leadership of Donald Trump, our country is weaker and sicker and poorer. And now, Americans are asking, if we have another 4 years like this, will there even be an America?
With the month of May, the state of the race is entering the summer season. Once again, there's still room for the race to transform drastically, so don't take my May predictions as 100% accuracy. Let's take a look at the election map, shall we? Okay, so Arizona has shifted from toss-up to essentially lean blue at this point. Biden is likely to take hold of the state come this November. Now, it's not to say that the Republicans no longer have a chance at capturing the state, but judging by the metrics and the gradual shift of Arizona demographics, I can confidently state that the Dems will take the state by a couple points. A big switch from 2016. And what can the president really do to make up the gap between him and his rival? It's difficult to say, as the current crisis prevents him from campaigning within swing states. He is unable to rally and build up his base. Not only that, his base of support isn't growing. I have been seeing arguments that the growing unrest across the Rust Belt will shift red following the protests and riots that have been circling and nearing the states of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The argument here is that in 2016, Minnesota was around a point shy from going red, and that said riots will be viewed as negative by the vast majority of Americans. So far, at the current time I'm writing this video, there's no data to suggest this. The civil unrest across the United States has been growing immensely within the past couple of years. A divided America fueled by a world crisis has taken the consciousness of the country. Suggesting that the mass majority will disagree with the riots is assured is far from the potential truth. Yeah, a lot of people are pissed off, understandably so, and if a mass majority of Americans are angry and a large portion of them are unemployed, this usually doesn't translate well in terms of the party in power. Let's take a brief look into history. In 1932, Herbert Hoover was president during the worst economic crisis in our history, leading to FDR winning in a landslide. And again in the election years of 1980 and 1992, Jimmy Carter and George Bush Sr. resided during recessions that brought the nation down. Americans vote with their pocketbooks, and when re-electing an incumbent, Americans think about what the president has done for them within the past 4 years. I believe Ronald Reagan said it best.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? And if you answer all of those questions yes, why then I think your choice is very obvious as to who you'll vote for.
Anyways, no, I don't think Minnesota will trend red this year. I believe it will stay blue. As for Wisconsin, I see it going blue as well as the rest of the Rust Belt. I just can't see Trump doing well in these states. Once again, I think Biden is a stronger candidate than Hillary, as unlikely as that may seem.
Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost?
I mean, sure, his gaffes are immense and embarrassing, but the general public seems to like him more than the incumbent. In the Rust Belt, Trump has lost voters, and polls suggest that he won't gain back those voters. As for Ohio and Iowa, I still see Trump taking them both, albeit to a much less margin as seen in 2016. And as for Florida, I once again see Trump taking the state by a close margin. As for Maine, I made a mistake by giving its 2nd district to Joe Biden in the last election prediction video. This district has a grown conservative electorate, so I see it going for Trump. However, it's not going to be making much of a difference. Now, North Carolina. I'm conflicted about North Carolina. I mean, yeah, it's a southern state, but recent polls have shown it trending blue. However, I see Trump's current position and standing in the United States as weak, and only temporary for him in this state in particular. I believe enough of his base will come home to him, leading him to claim victory within this state, leading to 289 for Joe Biden and 249 for Donald Trump. Still a very close race. Trump still has time to make his case for a second term, but these next few months are going to be crucial to do so. As for the United States and how it is at the moment, I can't tell if I should label this under tweets that have aged well or have aged poorly. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be safe out there. Hey guys, this is like an unscripted portion of the video that's going to be barely edited, so if you don't like hearing me breathe, you'd click off now. This is going to be my raw thoughts about the current crisis within the United States, the protests and riots, and what happened to George Floyd. I can confidently say that what happened to George Floyd was a tragedy. I believe that's universally agreed. If it's not universally agreed, then I believe you're on the wrong side. Throughout United States history, we've constantly seen African Americans. They've been indoctrinated, they've been killed, hung. Even while fighting, for example, in World War II, they would return home, and after being welcomed by like French or other Europeans who were being liberated, they would return back to the United States and be shunned for their skin color. And I'm not saying anything too earth-shattering here, you know? It's common knowledge racism is bad, but it still persists within our society. I mean, it's not like the 1964 Civil Rights Act happened, and oh, racism is gone. Thanks, LBJ, you did it. It's still very real. And after 400 years of indoctrination, shunning, Jim Crow laws, sharecropping, the huge failure of Reconstruction, it's no surprise that African Americans would get upset. You know, as an American, we still have a lot to go. There's still a long road ahead for the United States in terms of where it's going, in terms of looking back to the past and retrospecting. I remember back when I was a junior in high school, I was so up my ass about America. It was just like, American number one, we could do nothing wrong. I loved this country, and I still do. As an American, of course, I want to see it succeed. I want to see it fix its flaws within its various institutions, but I believe I've gotten a more critical eye when it comes to looking back to the past and judging politicians and whatnot. I now know that America has done evil, has been an imperialist country for centuries, and has taken away so much from so many people. It is up to us, and when I say us, I mean the younger generations that watch my videos, that like and subscribe to it, to help shape this country to a nation that one should really be proud of. Because I know a lot of people, or particularly people in my audience, I did a poll recently, are part of the leftist crowd, or a decent portion of them in the right, and a decent portion of them in the centrist crowd, to form together, to build a country, to leave an America that is better than the one we grew up in. And that's how I see the United States. It's constantly changing. We go through ups and downs. But in the end, we all eventually make progress. Because I know in the end, we're probably going to be okay. And I believe what is right will eventually prevail. I kept that motto for so long. So, it's a difficult time out there. But best we can do is try and get through it, learn from it, and be better. Yeah, I know this seemed really rambly. It's 2 in the morning right now, and I'm trying to get some sleep. But I'm putting this in at the end of the video just for quick thoughts, because I'm not going to make a separate video dedicated to this topic. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Later!
This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream wall.